put a recording.
15 minutes.
Oh, cool. So we've got time.
Have fun.
Cool. We're good? It's already on, right? Okay, I'm just... Alright. It's Rob White here, Pulse 88. I'm just sat down with Tiggs Da Author. Nice to meet you, brother.
Nice to meet you, bro.
Good?
Yeah,
I'm liking the
good.
hat. I'm liking the hat.
Thanks, man.
So I see so many of these hats. Like, where's this fashion thing come from?
What, with the hats?
Yeah.
I don't know. I love hats in general. I've
Yeah.
got tons of different ones.
Yeah.
So
you're not a New Era guy? I imagine you're a New Era guy.
Yeah, in like bloody 2001.
2001.
Yeah, no one wears them though.
See, I ain't got no New Era hats. Yeah, so anyway, so obviously I've come down here. I'll talk to you about the single, talk to you about what's going on with you, talk to you about your show that's going to be coming up at the end of September.
Yeah.
So first of all, man, I want to really know how you got involved with RAC Records. You guys are part of them now. So how did that come about?
I was just kind of doing my thing, like having my own live shows, and kind of got interest from labels like that, and RCA just felt like the right one. So I went with them in November last year.
Okay, and so since you guys have been joined as a team, what have you guys done together? I know you've done some work. You work quite heavily with Sway. He's a big figure in the UK at the moment. So what has the label brought to you that you think you may not have been able to do yourself as an artist?
I mean, just giving me access in certain places that I wouldn't be able to get independently, to work with certain producers that I wouldn't be able to reach out to at that particular time.
Yeah.
And
you're working with Rich 32's producer Show and Prove, and a few others there as well.
Yeah. And
that's all through the label, and it's not...
No, I'm Show and Prove. I met him before.
Okay.
He's like, me and him are just like friends. And we got introduced by Sway, actually. That was like 3 years ago. So I knew him from before. But all the other producers, I kind of met them after. Yeah.
And so we've got big, like you mentioned before, you're doing a lot of shows, a lot of gigs. You've got a new one coming up on the 16th of September, right?
Yeah.
The Waiting Room. So how did that come about? What are you hoping to get out of that? I know you've got quite a big following already.
Yeah.
Are you hoping to reach another audience? Are you hoping to just expand your base? What are you hoping from that show?
No, that's just to show the people what I've been working on in the past year, for people to kind of hear some of the music that's potentially going to be on my album, and to see the direction that I'm taking.
Yeah, because you know what, I actually researched a lot into the album.
Yeah.
What you spoke about the album, you're very, very excited for the album to come out, and there's a lot going on.
Yeah.
So can you tell us a bit more about that and about what we can expect of it?
More about the album?
Yeah, the album, yeah.
Well, at the moment I've got a song out called Georgia.
Yeah.
And that's going to be on the album. There's a lot of influences from Motown to jazz to even grime, like, on the album. There's a bit of political undertones in some of the songs, but a lot of them are up-tempo fun, with a little bit of wittiness.
Who would you say your musical influences are at the moment? Because I know you spent some time, you were originally born, not in the UK, you were born in Tanzania.
Yeah.
And you moved to London when you was 8, so is there any musical influence in that time that you was in Tanzania which you brought over to London?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't pick up on the influences when I was 8, but when I got a little bit older, I went back to Tanzania and kind of really picked up the influence then. So when I started to understand music, I started listening to a lot more of the old jazz records that my mum was listening to, and I just picked up tons of influence from that and added it to my music.
And so who would you say you're really sort of rating at the moment in regards to sort of UK talent?
I love what Skepta's doing. Because when I used to listen to grime back in the day, that's how,
So solid times.
Exactly.
Everyone I speak to, the first thing they say is so solid.
Yeah.
So solid is like the pioneers of the scene.
Of course, I used to listen to So Solid, but even more like to like Wiley and Kano, because that's when I was like in secondary school, when like Wiley dropped What You Call It. So in my head, when I think of grime, that's the kind of music that I think. And of course, Skepta is doing that sort of vibe now. And that's why I just love what he's doing.
Would you? I know you on the album. You spoke about the album. You spoke that Georgia's going to be on there as well, which is out. It's going to be out. It's out now.
Yeah.
It's available on iTunes. So, is there any features on there with anyone that you're really excited about?
Yeah, there's definitely features on there. I'm gonna keep it on
the
a low.
We can't
I'm gonna keep it on a
we
low
can't get
for
one
now.
name. One name. I mean, okay. So we're not going to talk about the ones you got at the moment. But is there any others that you consider working with? I mean, if you manage to work with some of these big UK grams who are going on, like Skepta, like Stormzy, Krypton, Conan, is there anyone in particular you think, apart from Skepta, who's really making an impact and would gel well with your music?
Yeah. I don't know, man. With music, I just like for it to happen organically. If we bump into each other somewhere or in studio, then I'll just end up doing it. But it depends. There's a few people that I like. I love Novelist, Stormzy, of course, Krypton, Conan. They're all sick in their own way.
Yeah.
So it just depends if there's the right song there. Then.
And what would you say you can bring to the scene at the moment as an artist, which no one else can? It's like you don't have to trash on anyone, don't you? You don't have to trash on anyone. It's cool,
man.
If you're on a...
Me, I bring my personality, my vibe into it. I don't think there's anyone in the scene who's from Tanzania.
Right, yeah.
And that's where most of my influence is from. So you're going to hear that in my music. So whatever I do in the scene, it's going to have that edge to it.
Yeah. So I like it. You're like an individual in your own right.
Yeah.
Yeah. A mix of background and influences as well that you've got.
There you go.
So Georgia, let's get onto the single Georgia. That's out now. It's hitting about 60,000. The lyric video, I think, at the moment. Last time I checked, 60,000 views.
Yeah.
I know I've spoke before about the background of it.
Yeah.
I know you've mentioned it before in another interview. So what's the response been like? Obviously, the response in numbers looks good.
Yeah.
And how did the process come about? You making it?
So basically, that was like the first studio session that me and Show Improve had. I knew what I wanted to talk about, and he had a couple ideas, so he played them to me. I just recorded the song there and then. We kind of done it in like an hour or something. Yeah. And the whole song was finished. But yeah, the response has been like amazing. Obviously, I've had the song for like a year, and I said to myself, if I still like this song in a year's time,
then you'll put it out.
Then it's definitely gonna go out, and I still love it. So
there you go. Yeah.
I was like, I hope people feel the same.
And so, where can we get? I know it's out at iTunes at the moment. Where else is it out? And how can we find and follow you and follow your journey? It's
on iTunes. It's on Spotify. You can find me on my Twitter, which is at Tiggs Da Author. TIGGSDAAUTHOR, and that's the same with my Instagram and Facebook as well. And I've got a Snapchat as well. Yeah, we've done a little one. Yeah, exactly. It's the same. Is that the first time you got it? Because you're kind of like you're moving it around and you're like, okay, what am I doing? Is it recording? Yeah. Oh, it's recording. You know when you take one. People start posing. Yeah. And they're like, no, it's a video. Like, oh, is it a video? Yeah, it's a video. Yeah. I know, man. I literally just found out how to add people. Yeah. Imagine that, like with the
little symbol. Yeah. Don't worry, that took me a while. So
just found it out. Now I'm just gonna be adding everyone.
Yeah, the screenshot everyone. Yeah.
Real quick. Yeah, man.
All right, so if you haven't got the single already, you can get it now off iTunes. It's on Spotify. It's Georgia. It's out now. It's by Tiggs Da Author. You should go and support him. All his media stuff is Tiggs Da Author. So go and support UK music. And don't forget, I'm Rob White, and my show is The Best of British, which is on Pulse 88.